Hello and welcome to the USA New Times. Here are today's top stories shaping Africa and beyond. European markets opened the week with cautious optimism as a new data suggested the Eurozone economy may finally be stabilizing after a month of weak growth. On February 9th, 2026, the Sensex Investor Confidence Index for the Euro area jumped sharply, reaching its highest level since mid-2025. In a statement, Sensex said the recession in the Eurozone appeared to have come to an end, pointing to improving expectation in Germany and other major economies. But despite this positive mood, political and social uncertainty is still hanging over Europe. In a France resignation of central bank governor Francois on February 9th briefly raised concern about monetary continuity. However, analysts quickly downplayed the impact, saying the move was unlikely to change the European Central Bank policy direction, especially as inflation continues to ease and interest rate policy is expected to remain steady in the near term. Meanwhile, in the United Kingdom, markets were notably more volatile. A government borrowing cost rose and then pulled back on February 9th as investors reached to growing political pressure on Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Sterling also weakened against the euro, highlighting how domestic instability in Britain can still send ripples through European financial markets. And as Europe faces this mixed signal, French President Emmanuel Macron is pushing for deeper EU reform. Speaking on February 10th, Macron intensified calls for stronger European economic integration, warning that trade and technology disputes with the United States are likely to return. He argued the EU to seize what he described as a Greenland moment, a opportunity to strengthen European collective economic power. Macron argued that Europe must move faster, shared industrial and financial tools, including joint borrowing. He said Europe needs common fiscal capacity or risk falling behind the United States and China in the key sectors such as artificial intelligence, green technology, and defense financing. In other message to business leaders, Macron described his strategy as a protectionist, not protectionism. He said Europe should prioritize European suppliers in public procurement and defend strategic industries without resorting to blanket trade barriers. Economists say the debate reflects a growing shift in Europe's thinking as the bloc tries to balance free market principle with the push for strategic autonomy. Meanwhile, investor confidence is rising. Growth remains fragile, especially in manufacturing heavy economies like Germany, where high energy costs and weak global demand continue to weigh on production. For now, markets are encouraged by the sign of stabilization, but political decision in the coming month will be critical. One of EU diplomat put it, Europe now has narrow window to turn optimism into a durable growth, and Macron's proposal may soon test just how far EU members states are willing to go towards deeper integration in an increasingly divided global economy. Rwanda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Ambassador Olivier Nduhungirehe has strongly criticized a Belgian member of Parliament of Congolese origin Lydia Mtebere for supporting Paul Rusesabagina, who convicted on terrorism-related charges. On February 9th, in 2026, MP Mtebere announced that she welcomed Rusesabagina at the Belgian Parliament in Brussels. She She praised him as a strong voice human rights and thanked him for supporting the Democratic Republic of Congo in its fights against FCA M23 coalition, which she claimed was aimed at rotting mineral resources. In her statement, Muchebere recalled that Rusesabagina was arrested in Rwanda in August 2020, convicted in 2021, and later released in March 2023. She also said that defending human dignity come at a cost. In a response, a minister Nduhungirehe posted on X a list of 9 people he said were killed by the armed group known as FRN. The names included Joseph Habalurema, Fidel Munyaneza, Anthony Manilaho, Diane Jacqueline Mutesi, Isaac Niwenshuti, Janine Niyobuhungiro, Hilali Mukabahizi, Samuel Nhizibyayo, and Ornella Sine Ateta. The minister said that MP Mutebere idea of defending human dignity appear to mean supporting person convicted of a terrorism, while the victim of FRN attacks are treated as if they not matter, especially within the Socialist Party PC. He added that victims such as 13 years old Ornella, 17 years old Isaac, 23 years old Janine, and other killed in attack linked to Rusesabagina FRN would not be given the same value in Brussels compared to a Hollywood celebrity. Paul Rusesabagina was arrested in Kigali in August 2020 after being lured by friends, Pastor Constantino Mungeri, who brought him from Dubai, while Rusesabagina believed he was traveling to Burundi. At the time, he was president of the MRC coalition, which was linked to the FRN armed wing. Based on evidence, including his public support for FRN attack in Rwanda, Southwest in 2018 and 2019, as well as multiple testimonies presented in court, special chamber of High Court convicted him of a terrorism-related charges and sentenced him to 25 years in prison. On March 24th, in 2023, Rusesabagina was released from Nyarugenge prison after President Paul Kagame granted clemency to him and other former FRN members. Rusesabagina had written a letter requesting specialized medical care due to a serious illness. He currently lives at his home in San Antonio, Texas, before becoming involved in activities aimed at stabilizing Rwanda. The United States had granted him permanent residence and Belgium had given him a citizenship. South Africa has announced it will withdraw its remaining troops from the United Nations peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a move that signals major shift in international efforts to stabilize the region. The decision, confirmed by the UN Secretary on February 8th, as a major blow to MONUSCO, the UN Organization Stabilization Mission in Democratic Republic of Congo, one of the world's longest, most expensive and most criticized peacekeeping operation. South Africa exists also highlight a painful reality. After decades of intervention, the conflict in eastern Congo remains far from resolved. The war in the region has often described as the deadliest since World War II, with more than 6 million deaths. Eastern Congo is also home to more than 200 armed groups fighting for territory and control of variable mineral resources, including cobalt and cotton, key material used in electronics and green energy technologies. South Africa's departure comes less than a year after the collapse of a separate military mission led by the Southern African Development Community, or SADC, that a regional force which included troops from Malawi and Tanzania was deployed to support the Congolese army against the M23 labor movements, but mission ended after suffering major setbacks, including the loss of key cities such as Goma and Bukavu. The M23, widely believed to be backed by Rwanda, a claim Rwanda continues to deny. And meanwhile, the Congolese government coalition, made up of National Force, Burundian troops, the sanctioned FDLR military, European mercenaries, and local Wazalendo military, has struggled to stop the rebel advance in South Africa. The decision is also being driven by growing domestic pressure to cease overseas military deployments. Reports have described in South African National Defence Force as a declining in capacity due to the chronic underfunding, aging equipment, and low morale. As of late 2025, South Africa had around 750 personnel in MONUSCO, making it one of the mission major contributors. Its withdrawal now leaves serious gap in force already accused of becoming costly bystander to an endless conflict. MONUSCO, which was first deployed in 1999, operates with an annual budget over $1 billion, allowing 14,000 troops, but after 27 years, it faces intense criticism from both the Congolese government and the public of failing to protect civilians. All these armed groups. The mission's mandate was extended for another year in December 2025, but its credibility is at its lowest point. In a recent year, violent protests have erupted in Congo demanding MONUSCO departure. Even insecurity continue to worsen. South Africa withdraw from both the SADC mission and now MONUSCO points a troubling picture. A regional and international stabilization efforts in eastern Congo appear to be unreviewing. This comes at a time when the M23 rebellion is gaining more ground than ever, raising fear of widening a regional conflict. A million of civilians remain trapped in the middle, facing displacement, hunger, and widespread human rights abuses. Now, with one of Africa's key military powers stepping back, urgent questions are being raised about what comes next. Will MONUSCO weakening presence push the region toward diplomatic solution, or could it open the door to an even deeper and more dangerous conflict in eastern Congo? Those are the major stories making headlines today.